events and code execution. In our previous lesson, you learned how to use variables to store data in our computer memory. In this lesson, you'll learn how to write and run your own code, how to print string to your screen, and how to use event begin play to trigger your code to run. Alright, let's first open our first-person template project. Create one if you don't have any. Once the Unreal Engine editor is open, go to Content Drawer, click to open, or use Control Space to open it. And let's create a folder under Content. I already have mine called Playground. You can create yours by right-click and select New Folder. In this folder, we are going to create a new Blueprint class. Right-click, select Blueprint class, and select Actor as our parent class. Let's name it BP underscore cube. Open the Blueprint class, dock it next to our game level, and let's give our Blueprint class a shape by adding a static mesh. You can directly just add a cube, which is already a static mesh you can use. Now click on Event Graph. Basically, this is your code editor. So when we do traditional programming, we need to use also code editor and to enter code line by line. But in Blueprint Visual Scripting, we do not have to enter anything. We just have to add some nodes into this event graph. We already mentioned that before. Nodes are just pre-created code snippet. We just need to find the nodes we want to use and connect them. There is a tradition a lot of learners follow. When you are learning a new programming language, your first line of code should print something to your screen called Hello World. Alright, let's make our first Blueprint class, our BP Cube, do the same. Let's make it speak Hello World to our screen. How do we do that? On the event graph, there are something showing here already. Let's leave it as it is. If you click your right mouse button and hold it, you can move this area to the left or right, move it around. And right click on the empty space, you will get a menu which you can select actions for this blueprint. We need to search for an action which is called print string. So once you enter print, it will find that for you already. Click to select it. Now this is your first node. What this node does is to print a string here to our screen. In order to run this node, we need to connect this node to something called an event. There is one here which is called event begin play. What does it mean? An event is something happened or something is happening. Event begin play means when the game starts playing. Now we need to connect these two nodes together. It's called a pin-to-pin connection. How do we do that? You can click your left mouse button on this execution pin like an arrow. Click and drag it. You see a line, and then drag it onto this execution pin and let your mouse button go. Now these two nodes are connected together. Press your Alt key on your keyboard, the Alt key, and click on either of these pins. You will disconnect them. You can also click and drag from this pin back to the event begin playing execution pin. So either way works. Next, click on compile to apply the change we made. And we can go back to our game level. Go to content drawer and drag our cube into the scene, into the game level. If you don't place your actor, your Blueprint class, in the game level, your code will not run. Now we can click on play. On the top left corner, it shows hello for a very short period of time. But it worked! Congratulations! This is your first line of code. Let's recap what happened during the gameplay. Once we hit the play button, this event, begin play, got triggered. And our print string node, which is connected directly to this event begin play node, got executed. This string hello got printed to the screen. That's what happened. Alright, let's see what else can this print string node do. If you click on this arrow, you will see there are more options. The first option is print to screen. That's what it did. And print to log. We didn't talk about that. If you look at your bottom toolbar here, just next to the content drawer, there is an output log. So basically, the hello string also got printed out somewhere here. And there's an option you can change the text color. So I can change it into, for example, red. Just select red and OK. The duration, let's make it 20 seconds. Alright, let's compile and go back to our level and run the game again. Now this time it's red. It will stay for 20 seconds. What if I want to print out something else? For example, hello world instead of only hello. You can just change the text here, change the string here. But we can also make use of a variable, make use of what we've learned yesterday. So you can come to variables and click on add a variable. We can name it as greetings and change the value type into string. You can also change it on the details panel. And then we can click and drag this into our event graph and let the mouse button go. It gives us two choices, get greetings and set greetings. We want to get the variable, the value of that variable. So click on get greetings. And this is our variable in the event graph. Now, click on this data pin. This is called a data pin and connect it to inString. Sometimes the event graph gets a little bit crowded. We can move the details panel to the right. And you can also click and drag a node like this. Just use your left mouse button. You can arrange them better. Now, if you compile and start the game, nothing will get printed out. Because if you click on the greetings variable, you'll notice that there's no value. The default value, there's nothing here. You have to compile it first. And now you can enter the string here. Hello world. You can also click on the variable here and change the value. So it's the same. Click on this node or click here. Alright, make sure we compile and we go back to our game level and start the game. And this time it prints out hello world. I would like you to pay attention to some small details which will really help you in the future to understand this event graph better. Do you notice this pin? The color of this pin is kind of pinkish, right? And also when you take a look at the variable, this is the value type, right? What type of value? When it's a string, it has this little icon, looks like a pink color, so it's the same pink color. In the future, when you are programming in the event graph, there are so many nodes. You will really get confused. However, when you see a pink node like this, it's a variable and it's a string. Alright, let's recap what we did. We actually created a variable called greetings. It's a string, and we drag and drop it into the event graph and connect it to this pin. Now, the variable replaces the original hello string here. There is another way to create a variable for this pin, which is, let's first disconnect this line. Okay, you can do it by press the Alt key, Alt, and click on either of these pins will disconnect it. Now, if you click and drag this pin out, you will see promote to variable. Or you can just right click on this pin and select promote to variable. You'll notice that on the left here, there is a new variable called string created, but the name is a little bit strange. It's called inString. You can change that. So you can right click over here to rename, or you can select it and change it on the details panel here. Let's change it to new greetings. Alright, don't forget to compile. Now we can enter some default value. Let's call it hello again. Just something different. Compile, go back to our level, play. Now, the new string from the new variable gets printed out. And you might wonder, what happened to this greetings node? These variables we created earlier. Well, it stays in our blueprint class and does nothing. So it's a waste of our resource. When a node is not connected to a node which has the execution pin and can be executed like this node does nothing. We can delete this node from our event graph by right-click and select delete, or you can press the delete key from your keyboard. So the node is gone, but the variable is still here. You can right-click and delete it as well, or use your delete key to delete it. Now we compile. You can save all the changes we've made, so next time when you open your project, the change will still be there. Just click on File and Save All. And you'll notice that on the bottom right corner, it says all saved. There's nothing unsaved. Alright, we are at the end of this lesson. There are some reminders for you. Code in your Blueprint class won't run if there is nothing to trigger it. You should link your code to some events and let events trigger it to run. Remember what we did with our print string node? We connected to the event begin play. Because when the game started, the event begin playing also got triggered. That's why our code could run and the string got printed to the screen. Events won't be triggered if your Blueprint class is not placed into the game level and the game is not playing. So if you don't place your Blueprint class into the game level to create an instance of the class and you don't start the game, your code will not run either. You have to do both. Create an instance and start your game. The last reminder. The print string node is your good friend if you want to find out why your code is not running or it doesn't give you the desired result. So during this whole lesson, we were just playing with printing some string to our screen. But actually we can print out more content. So this is going to be really useful for you to debug your code. So we are not wasting the time of this whole lesson just to play with the print string, because this is very, very important for you to understand and to know how to use it. That is all for this lesson. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.